everybody, and thank you for joining me today. So continuing to work on the Mask of Truth today. Finishing it up. We've got the center eye motif pretty much done. And I'm going to hit at least 1 0 in this session, like right off the bat. So yeah, I hit 4 of them yesterday, so that was fun. Oh, and let me make sure I'm in the right place. Yeah. Almost started off with a mistake. That would have really sucked. Oh my gosh, you're gonna be just a big pain, aren't you? There, gotcha. Yeah, I checked all my other colors that were 10 stitches or less left on this, but most of them are over on the bottom right corner there, so we're just past the center line now. So yeah, we'll hit at least 1 0 and we'll see if we get any others or not today. Those are always so fun. Okay, 30, 33. There it is. Accidentally put my envelopes back, not quite in the same order. 3064 or something ended up before this number, but at any rate, 0. Woohoo! Okay, so there's this one. I'm just going to check the length of the other one that I have parked here, which is, yeah, not really that long, but I think it should be enough for the last 3 stitches there, so I can end this one off. Yeah, so another kind of gloomy day here today, but yeah, got my drapes open all the way for the light, and last time the lighting seemed sufficient, so that was good. I was a little concerned on my last Stitch With Me video that it might not be sufficient, but no, it was all right. Okay. $37.79. Have to be careful because I almost went to grab $37.99, which is a dark, like brown color. But where is this color? Oh, I tell you. $37.79 should be in here somewhere. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to go through my envelopes and sort them out. I have a few I think I put not in quite the right spots, so that's mixing me up. Need to pay more attention, I suppose. Yeah, so we got some confetti here and some bigger blocks of color coming up for Link's tunic. Yeah, a bunch of this over to the right of where I'm stitching is bigger blocks, so that'll go really fast. So yes, and my goal is 85% by the end of this month, and I think we're definitely going to get that. And then yeah, I will be finished sometime mid-May. So yeah, that went really quick. Yeah, usually my projects are measured in years, not months. That's what you get when you do a smaller one like this. Oh yeah, and we should pass 40,000 stitches completed today. We're at 39,792 right now, so. Oh, we get another 0, woohoo! Yeah, I said I knew there was going to be at least 1, but hey, we got 2. can see I have a lot of confetti from all the pin stitches here. Almost every vertical square or thread there is got a pin stitch in it. Yeah, I don't like pin stitching in the horizontal threads. I don't know why. It just doesn't seem to disappear into the fabric as well. So I stopped doing that. Okay, 37, 47. Okay, and another 0. Excellent. Yeah, this one is not very long. Yeah, so it was fun. The theater group in the next town, they did a dinner theater for the first time in 3 years, so we got to go. Yeah, it was a nice night out. Comedy for the play. Yeah, it was quite fun. It was very silly, but very fun. Yeah, there's something about watching a play, you know, because there's no retakes. The show must go on no matter what happens, so. Yeah, my sister likes to do community theater. She did they did a production of The Secret Garden recently, and she got to be Mrs. Medlock, so yeah. Yeah, unfortunately we live too far away, so wasn't able to go, but yeah, we did some of that when I was a kid too. For summer programs and stuff, we got to be in musical theater, and yeah. And we did dance too when we were little. Yeah, we did ballet. We tried some tap for a little while, and yeah. Yeah, I haven't done any live performance in a long time. Used to play piano and compete, and yeah, so again, yeah, there's something about that because you get one chance, right? Yeah, you don't, there are no retakes. Yeah, one we did one year was called the Phantom of the Music Room. Yeah, and the songs were like more well-known classical pieces with words added to them. So yeah. Yeah, it's funny how you can remember things in songs. It's like they said, almost like every culture has had it as a way to remember things. Oh. Or mnemonics. It's funny though, my husband says that mnemonics don't really work that well for him. But yeah, I've used them a lot to remember things. Yeah, of course, anyone that we had about the planets had to change once they demoted Pluto from a planet. And then they made it a planet again, didn't they? I can't remember, but yeah. Ugh. So I'm not really going as diagonal at the moment. Sort of more following the outline of the mask here. And then I will go more into a diagonal direction. Okay, so 37.43. Yeah, I wonder if all the 39 stitches that it says I have left are right here. Probably. I'm not going to count them at the moment, but looks like it. I don't imagine they'd be on anywhere else in the pattern because most of the rest of the pattern is darker shading, so yeah. Yeah, like I've been saying, this stitches up a bit darker than the mock-up, but I've been very happy with it. Detail is great, especially for a pattern that doesn't have as many stitches as a lot of the pieces I work. I guess the fact that it has more colors, this is 125 colors in this piece as opposed to the 90 I usually work with, so that probably helps too. Oh, tying yourself into knots here. There we go. Fortunately, I was able to pull it free. Okay, 3864. That's the very last number, color number. Oh, yeah, so my nemesis, that crow, woke me up at 5 again this morning. Like, So white noise isn't as good for me, but somebody suggested I try brown noise. So I looked up one and I have it favorited in my YouTube playlist. So if that crow wakes me up again, I'm gonna give it a shot. See what happens. Okay, let's see. Where am I? Oh, did I park this incorrectly? I think I did. Yes, I did. I can see I parked it a row below where I should have put it. Yeah. Yeah, 1, 2. Yeah. Again, that's one nice thing with the grid lines. When I do mess it up like that, I can find where I should have put it much more easily. Okay. Yeah, I'll see. I'll try to see if I can leave that one threaded because I'll be getting to it sooner rather than later, but it is very short. So. Yeah, we still have a bit of snow on our lawn, but it's mostly mostly melted. Now that the snow melted, I finally went to the bottle depot because our bags of milk cartons and water bottles and such was covered in snow in the backyard. So now that it's mostly melted, I finally took it in. Yeah, my husband got it out of the trailer that it was in, sitting in, and stuck them in the sun on our driveway so the bags could dry off before I put them in my car, so I didn't get my car all dirty. Yeah. I had 9 bags, and I had somebody actually help me moving them when I was at the bottle depot, because yeah, I was able to carry them out all at once, but it was a tough go. You know, I had a finger hooked in each bag. Yeah, he was saying, "Oh, this is nothing." He said he had a friend of his who hadn't gone to the bottle depot in like 5 years, and his whole shed was full of empties, and yeah. He said, boy, by the time they got to the bottom, it was very unpleasant. Because, yeah, as you can imagine, milk cartons sitting there for years. Ugh, not smell good. Okay, yeah, quite a bit of color changing here, but that keeps this interesting. Ah, yes, this color, I imagine we're going to see some more of it on his arm, his other arm. We've done Link's right arm. We'll be doing his left fairly soon. Should be holding up the mask. Although part of it, of course, will be more purpley because it'll be in shadow. Yeah, I got a couple threads of this here. Okay, that's a long one. I think this one is, oh, actually they ended up being both. I guess they came from different directions and they kind of converged here. So, yeah, sometimes that happens. Oh, sorry guys. Didn't mean to bonk the camera there. This is a very professional setup. Oh dear. All right, only 10 of this left, but they're not all in this area. Yeah, I've only got 6 here, so won't be getting another 0 with that color either. Yeah, so like I often say, I stitch diagonal-ish, but I follow the colors and just let them guide me. So yeah, this is not quite diagonal because I'm kind of following the outline here of the mask. Darker color, so I'm gonna draw it along the back instead of pin stitching it, because I know there's a fair bits of lighter color there and I don't want it to show through. Okay. That one. Yeah, again, grid line helped me realize I was on the wrong side of it. If I was picking up that thread, it would have been the wrong thread. Here we are. Oops. Went to grab it from the other side and instead I pushed it back. Popped it out of that hole there. Yeah, so we should definitely hit 40,000 completed before the end of this session because, yeah, I have less than 80 to get to there, so that'll be no problem. I'm not sure how long it'll take me to get this one mounted. I have another project I need to mount. It's a secret one. It's a gift for someone. They may watch this, so I'm not going to reveal what it is. Maybe later. Okay. So no matter what I do, okay, so I'm going to go over, oh my goodness, if you would move. Yeah, I'm going to go over to the left and start working my way back again. Just because that's the way it's shaped, the way the colors are going. Might work better if I put it in mark mode instead of search mode. Silly me. So yeah, the center is like right in the center of this eye motif basically, so. And we'll hit 83% pretty soon too. So yeah, only 2% more to reach my monthly goal or less than 1,000 stitches, which, yeah, should be no problem. Oh yeah, and glad for Pattern Keeper again. Here's G, and then there's number 9, and yeah, if you aren't paying attention, those can look pretty similar. And the actual colors used are not similar. The number 9 is this light perp mauve color, and then this is a deeper red color, so yeah. You definitely don't want to be mixing those up. Your piece would look very weird if you did that. done that before, mixed up a lowercase g and a number 9. Oh gosh, there we go. Tying itself in knots. Okay, I think I'll unthread that for a minute because I'm trying to sort and fill in all this there, so I won't be using that color again for a bit. Yeah, like I could sort of cut it off here and keep going that down the diagonal, but I kind of want to finish the mask because it looks cool. So there's no rules, but the ones you make for yourself, as Karen the Needlebug likes to say. So yeah, I'll stitch it the way I want to. Yeah, there are a lot of shades of red in this eye here. I always say the final finishing or the mounting always takes forever. It's just, it's not difficult, it's just time consuming, and yeah, kind of have to commit most of a day to it, and it's a lot of setup, and so yeah, it's one of those things that get pushed off for a while. It's like with my knitting, it's a reason why I try to knit things in one big piece when I can, rather than several pieces that need to be sewn together, because yeah, I take forever to do the sewing part. I remember I knitted my son a little baby sweater, and the knitting the little pieces, my goodness, that took like a day. And then yeah, it sat around for weeks before I finally assembled it, and the sewing took, you know, like several days to put it together. And then of course he outgrew it like in 2 seconds, so yeah, I said the next time, instead of making it in pieces, I converted, either found a pattern that was made in one piece, or I converted it and yeah, knit it from the top down. Yeah, that's a book I highly recommend if you are a knitter who wants to design your own clothing. Barbara G. Walker's Knitting from the Top Down is invaluable. It's really nice because I find it's easier to work. You work the whole yoke of a sweater, the top and the sleeves first, and then split the sleeve stitches off, rather than working from the bottom and then joining them together, because yeah, it's harder to get the like it kind of pulls in different directions. I find that tougher to stitch with. So yes, and knitting from the top down, you do not have to do everything as raglan sleeves, because most top down patterns I found that is what they use, and not everybody likes the look of those. That's the one where it's like the baseball style shirt where the sleeve goes from like sort of the neck diagonally out to the underarm. Yeah, and not everybody likes that style. And so with that book, I actually, she had directions on how to make one that's in one piece with a set-in sleeve, which was really nice, because that was one of the worst parts of knitting a sweater, is if you have the set-in sleeve, getting the cap to fit in the armhole, because of course it's not the same number of rows, so you can't just match 1 to 1. And yeah, so it was really nice. It's a bit of more work in the beginning, but once you get it all together, because yeah, you sort of like knit the left beside the neck in the front, then the right beside the neckline in the front. You knit the back piece, you join them together, and then you pick up stitches around for the sleeve. And so yeah, it's kind of a involved process at first, but once you get it all set up, it's really nice. You can just knit straight from that. So I made several using that method with different designs, cables and lace and things. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, and then she had 4 books, Treasury of Knitting Patterns, which was all sorts of cables and lace patterns. So yeah, the possibilities were pretty much endless to make either garments, or I've done blankets and things. Yeah, I made myself this long red kind of tunic top where I made like a cable band in the center, and then I picked up stitches and knit the top part, then picked up stitches and knit sort of the skirt part at the bottom. And yeah, I've worn that quite a few times. And yeah, the nice thing is when it's made from the top down, you can put it on a long circular needle or on scrap thread and try it on as you go to make sure it actually fits. Because yeah, I've done that before, knitting a sweater from the bottom up, and you knit the whole darn thing, try putting it on, and it doesn't fit. It's so disappointing. So yeah, it's nice before you commit to knitting the whole thing, you could try it on and make sure that it actually like fits under your arms and all that, on the shoulders and everything properly. Okay, I'm gonna knit that one, stitch that one first. Talking about knitting, I mixed myself up. 37.22. Yeah, all that talk about knitting, I got mixed up. Okay. Okay, seeing how long it is. You can use up a smaller piece. Yeah, my grandma taught me basic how to knit when I was like 7, but just basic, like cast on, knit, stitch, cast off, and then yeah. Years later, I bought myself one of those little teach yourself knitting kits from Michael's, and yeah, learned how to do all sorts of other stuff. I ended up giving it to my goddaughter years later because she took up knitting, and I had to have everything memorized by then. So yeah, and then her mom does crochet more, so we traded off stuff. Yeah, I knit her a sweater that she liked, that she couldn't make because it was in knitting, and yeah. Yeah, I tried to learn crochet, but I wasn't as successful at it. Maybe because, like I said, I've been knitting since I was really little. And then I tried to learn crochet when I was a grown-up. And so, yeah, I had a harder time keeping the tension and all that. So, yeah, I kind of wanted to learn because I've seen some absolutely adorable crocheted little stuffed animals. Because, yeah, I've done a couple knit ones, but I say if you want to make a crochet or a stuffed animal, crochet, I find is often, it's more sturdy. So it depends how floppy you want your stuffed animal to be. So I made my son a little penguin and a little dragon. Yeah, which is pretty darn cute, if I say so myself. I made a little teddy bear and a stuffed pig. But yeah, I find those lose their shape more. Knitting is not as sturdy. So it's better for, say, garments. But yeah, so I always, like, people ask which is better, and I say, well, it depends what you want to make. You know, if you want to make stuffed toys or blankets, there's a lot more options in crochet. If you want to make clothes, then there's a lot more options in knitting, so yeah, they both have their place. Yeah, saying crochet can be more sturdy. I've actually used it to stabilize seams. And I had some knitted blankets that just being sewn together with thread wasn't really holding them together strong enough. So yeah, you can reinforce it with crochet on the inside. My gosh, that crow is still making noise. Like, sheesh. Okay, 30, 42. Yeah, or say one nice thing with crochet too is you don't have to have a long cable to hold your stitches like you do with knitting, because yeah, I've had to invest in several 60-inch circular needles for making blankets. I have a sunburst one that I knit from the center. It's a round blanket and it just keeps getting bigger, and yeah, by the end I have it on like 4 60-inch circular needles to hold all those stitches. Yeah, I find attaching new threads is where it eats up the most of your time. Once you have them attached, it doesn't take that long to switch back and forth between the colors. Yeah, starting and ending threads, it's I think where you lose the most time. But yeah, I'm not on a deadline, so it's not a race. Yeah, so I was curious the other day, talking about trying to learn another language, and I was curious to see what my level was in French. So I took a test and it said I was at level A2. It's like level A1 is absolute beginner and A2 is still beginner. I was like, man. Oh. So I don't know what luck I'll have trying to learn a third, even though I mean I haven't really learned the second, just have a little familiarity with it. Oh dear. Yeah, and then I said, I asked on my Facebook, like, is there a connection between being bad at math and having trouble learning a new language? Because I'm terrible at both. And yeah, apparently dyscalculia, which like I've talked about before and I'm pretty sure I have, is should have done that in a different stitch, but oh well, I can still work it from there. Yeah, is common to have trouble with learning, and also ADHD, because yeah, I said I'll be going through flashcards and I saw the answer like literally 10 seconds before. Can't remember what it was. Oh, it gets so frustrating. So I'm like, you mean I may actually have a disability when it comes to learning a language? Okay, so it's not just that I'm lazy. Oh. I'm gonna keep trying. Like I said, I paid for 2 years of online lessons, so I'm gonna stick it out for the 2 years and then reassess from there if I've managed any. Ugh. Or my husband will tell me how to say something, but of course, even after repeating it to myself several times, I'll still forget 10 minutes later. I have to look it up again. Ugh. Yeah, it was interesting. They said that I was curious and I looked it up and said that the average person knows 20,000 words in their primary language, their first language. But that you only use about 3 to 5,000 conversationally, so you know a lot more words than you actually generally use. So, yeah. So they said it's like 3 to 5,000 can be considered a working use of a language. I'm like, okay, well, I think I have like 50 in Hungarian now. Oh dear. Of course, I still keep getting all the conjugation and verb tenses wrong. And the noun conjugations. Ugh. So many to remember. Oh, once I get a little more, I'll have my husband, we'll try to talk in it and then he can correct me because I'm going to need a lot of correcting. I know that. Yeah. Yeah, there was I was reading about, different tips and tricks, and one just said basically you're going to make mistakes, so don't be afraid to, you may sound like Tarzan talking because you get all your, me need this kind of thing because you don't really know how to say it properly. So, yeah, it was interesting because I one time asked my husband what language does he think in, and apparently he doesn't think in words, which was just mind-blowing to me. So I asked him, what language do you count in? He's like, I don't really count in a language either, just kind of know it. Yeah, because they said often even people who are fluent in more than one language will still count in the language that they learned to count in. Yeah, because I remember I worked at a Chinese restaurant for a couple of years. I could hear my boss, when she was counting the till, I could hear her counting in Cantonese. Yeah, my mom knew a few numbers, so she taught us like 1 to 10. So I'd heard it and I knew that she was counting in, not in English. Okay, for all that confetti, we get a little break to do a few rows of one color as a treat. So yeah, we've passed 83%, closing in on 40,000 total completed. Yeah, so I was saying about how I had to get my windshield replaced. Yeah, while we were there, they kind of gave a look over the car and we found out that the oil was a valve or whatever was leaking a bit, because my husband thought the oil on the driveway was from another older vehicle, company vehicle, but yeah, it turned out no, it's actually from mine. So getting that fixed. Well, like older because it was like from the 70s, even though, yeah, my vehicle's getting to be older too. It's a 2009, so it's almost 15 years old, which is like, how was 2009 that long ago? Holy cow. They said things I think happened, 3 or 4 years ago happened in like 2003, which is 20 years ago. Oh dear. Yeah, there was a picture showing, you know, what you think Legend of Zelda looked like 20 years ago, and it showed the original Nintendo 8-bit, and it was like what Legend of Zelda actually looked like 20 years ago, and it was the Wind Waker. I was like, oh yeah, I am getting old. I see, do all generations have this problem, or is it just us who went through the year 2000? Because I swear that broke our brains. It's like time stopped then. Okay. All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna carry that down and back up. Oh, have I parked wrong again? Oh, look at that. I marked it different from how I parked it. Okay, I actually parked it there, I think. 1, 2, 3, yep. And I marked it as being parked there for some reason. Okay, in that case then, I'm instead gonna fill in some other stuff before I get to that stitch. Okay. Back to changing colors after every stitch. Hair being stitched into there. Don't want that. Okay. Oh, 37, 27. Where are you? Should be here. Huh. Oh, silly me. I was looking in the 3800s. Of course it's not there. Okay. Put this one back where it should be. There we go. 37, 27. There it is. unthread that because I've got a lot of live needles right now, and that's, yeah, kind of making things a little more difficult. So there. So now I'm going to take this one, sort of carry it down and back up. Now that I've done all the stitches that are above and to the left of it. So do the bottom legs, and then come back up crossing the top legs, and then I'm going to perk it. So I could cross as I go and then park in a section lower down. It's totally up to, you know, just a matter of personal preference. Stitch is looking a little funky. Just try to smooth it out there. There we go. There we go. So I'll use a different stitch for the two up there. I'm just gonna park this one. Oh, have I parked wrong again? No, I haven't. Okay. Thinking, sheesh, what is with me today? But no, I'm good. Okay. Yeah, sometimes I have one of those days where I seem to just mess up everywhere. Well, I was woken up way early, so it's all the crow's fault. Tack that with a pin stitch. It's a longer carry, but still within an inch. Okay. Goodness. Really messed up. Let's try that again. There we are. Goodness. Don't know why that keeps wanting to do that. Again, my gosh, this piece of thread is cursed. I swear. Ugh. Okay. Oh, I can park it now and I won't have to deal with it for a bit. Okay, now I can finally do a bit more of this area I was working on in the beginning and tie some of these threads off and get my needles back. Alright, here's where I've got two longer threads, but that's okay. Tie them both off and save the leftover bits. Gives me another couple of needles back. I did not leave that one threaded. Yeah, I guess because when I parked it, I knew it would be a while till I got to it, so. Oh dear. Oh, where did I put this one? It must be out of order too. 3064. Yeah, put it in the wrong spot. Here's where I said I was going to add a different thread. Pretty sure I have a leftover. Oh yeah, I got lots of leftover pieces here, so that will not be a problem. didn't go down quite right. Made that stitch look funny. There we go. That's better. Okay. Okay, 38.64. I won't be hitting a 0 on that one. At least not yet. Yeah, it's funny, I was saying about neighbor next door who would use the snowblower on the snow that was on his grass. We had a neighbor across the street who did the same thing. And yeah, his snow still didn't melt any faster, or not by much, maybe an hour. Yeah, said if you really want your left, you know, the last bits of snow to melt quickly, you need to chuck them on the concrete when it's sunny out, because yeah, that'll do it. And you won't wreck your grass that way. Yeah. Sometimes I will shovel it out into the rain gutter, and usually by then there's a water running down the street, so that melts it even faster. You got the sun melting it and the, you know, water running over it. But, yeah, even if you do nothing with it, it will melt eventually, you know. Just be patient. But yeah, by the time the thaw comes, we're all just so thoroughly sick of the snow. At least we're at the point now where, oh dear, not back there, yeah. At least we're at the point now where most of the bulk of it is melted away, so it's not flooding the sidewalks and things anymore, because that's the worst. Yeah, my son wanted to go for a walk the other day, and yeah, I had to keep like walking off of the sidewalk and onto the grass on the side, because some of the sidewalks were flooded. I didn't want to soak my feet because I wore sneakers and not boots, so. Okay. Man, that is one that I think I just removed a knot from. It's doing it again. Yeah, if you could quit doing that, that'd be great. Actually, I'm gonna do this one and the one next to it, then I can do both of those U-turn symbol stitches in a row. Yeah, so I double checked and Zora Link is totally done. Yeah, His bottom half is covered up by Link's shoulder in front of him, the main Link in the center. So yeah. So yeah, all the other, so Goron Link is done, Zora Link is done. We'll finish up this guy, and then we just have Deku Link. Yeah, I liked the being the Deku, because I like the music at the Deku Palace in Majora's Mask. It was so catchy. So yeah, I did that so that I could do both of these stitches and then tie this thread off. 39,922. So let's stitch until we hit 40,000 at least, hey? Yeah, that sounds good to me. Goodness. Oh, there we go. Don't know why I don't seem to have a thread card in this envelope. Just make one. So I keep a bunch of little cardboard squares in a little jar next to my workspace, and then I just write the color number on it, Sharpie, and cut a little slit in it, and then that way I can put the leftover threads through this little slit, and then it's easy to pull out the leftover pieces from my envelope when I want to grab a shorter piece. I don't have to go sorting through all the pieces in the envelope. I can just pull out the card and find the shortest one. Yeah, just found it keeps things a little more organized. So like this one, I have a whole bunch of threads, and then that way I can just pick up the card and pull out one of the threads, one of the shorter threads, and then use that. And I find that a little bit quicker. Because yeah, I was just used to just throw the pieces in the envelope, but then I found that meant sometimes if you had several leftover pieces, yeah, you were sorting through quite a bit to try and find it. So you were pulling out all the little pieces you could find to try and find, you know, the right size ones. So yeah, putting them on a thread card like that, I find just saves me a little bit of hassle. Means less time I have to search through my threads and more time for stitching. Okay, so this is a darker color here past the edge of the mask, so I will pin stitch it there. I'm running out of places to pin stitch here. This was a very high confetti area. This one I remember is not too long. What I'm going to do, stitch these three. Look at that, 7 stitches of this left, but there's only 6 here. Yeah, I'm not sure where the 7th one is, but we won't be getting a 0 here either. Oh well, we had 2 zeros right off the bat, so I guess I'll have to be content with that. Okay, so this color, I think I can get almost a row out of that. So I'm going to stitch this one here. Stitch it, not tangle it. And then I'm going to park this one here. Park it in the row below. And then I'm going to do all these stitches with this thread here, and that should use it up. That way I didn't waste it. So yeah, sometimes when I have two threads that end up in the same area, I just kind of juggle both of them. Do one row with one and one with the other and kind of use them both. Yeah, this way. Get every last bit out of this thread that I can. Check this one. Yeah, that's long enough to park. So I'll park with that one because it's closer. But if that had only been long enough to do one stitch, then I would have carried this one over rather than stopping and starting again. Said stitch to 40,000, but then I got bogged down in confetti, so I don't know, we'll see. Ah, we'll get a 0 on that one. Looks like we have 3 stitches left and they're all right there, so no, we might hit another 0 here too. Sweet. Oh, getting closer. little more comfortable here. Ugh. Yeah, one more. Woohoo. And that'll be another 0. Okay, 37.21 again. All right, I can see I'm gonna have more than one thread for this color because, yeah. Oh, look at that. Okay, it looks like I'm gonna run out of space on my tablet here to record anymore. So I guess we're gonna quit before we hit 40,000 today, because yeah, my I'm not gonna have enough room to record much more. So sorry we didn't hit that milestone today, but thank you so much for joining me today, and hope to see you here again another time. All right, thanks everyone.